If somebody erects a hard border in Ireland, you don't have to be a genius to know that somebody is going to get a few pounds of explosives and go out and blow it up because they don't want a border in Ireland.
Konfront er taget til Belfast i Nordirland for at se, hvordan det ser ud 20 år efter fredsaftalen er blevet indgået. Meget er forandret på overfladen, men konflikten spiller stadig en stor rolle i dag. Fra 1968 og 30 år frem var Nordirland præget af vold, mord og bomber i konflikten kendt som The Troubles. Den katolske irske del af befolkningen kæmpede for lige rettigheder, og nogen for et forenet socialistisk Irland. Paramilitære grupper som IRA og INLA kæmpede en guerillakrig mod det engelske militær og loyalistiske grupper som UVF. Omkring 3500 mennesker blev dræbt som følge af konflikten, der har sat dybe spor i befolkningen. I 1998 indgik parterne fredsaftalen Good Friday Agreement. IRA blev afvæbnet og fokus rettet mod at føre kampen videre gennem den politiske gren Sinn Féin. Men hvad er der sket siden, og hvor står kampen i dag? Jeg aftalte at mødes med Gerard Hodgins på Forth Road i West Belfast. Han er tidligere medlem af IRA, men trådte ud i den sidste halvdel af 90'erne. Han har siddet 16 år i fængsel, hvor han blandt andet deltog i den kendte sultestrejke i 1981. I dag er han kritiker af den politiske udvikling i Nordirland.
So it's been 20 years since the Good Friday Agreement. What has happened since then?
In the immediate aftermath of the Good Friday Agreement, there was a lot of optimism for the future. People believed that politically we could achieve our freedom away from the armed struggle. The initial sort of wave of optimism which flowed over the majority of people has largely evaporated now 20 years later, because while the Good Friday Agreement established political freedoms and a local political institution where Sinn Féin could be elected into and take their seats, that's as far as freedom went. There's no social freedom, there's no economic freedom. Sinn Féin have regressed from being a left-wing working class party with firm roots within the community to becoming just a normal political party.
You fought with the IRA for decades. Is this the vision that you fought for?
No, whenever we were fighting the war, we believed we were fighting for the freedom of Ireland. That was the first thing. We wanted the Brits out of Ireland, the declaration of withdrawal. Our second objective was the establishment of Democratic Socialist Republic as proclaimed in the Easter Rising of 1916. Yeah. Nothing that what we have today reflects in any way justifies the amount of struggle, pain and hardship that we went through as a people and also put people through. Yeah. Because revolutions sometimes have to be fought. They have to be fought to achieve justice. But we should never, in the aftermath of revolution, try to describe a revolution as some sort of glorious or romantic thing. It's not. People die in revolutions. People get blew apart in revolutions, unfortunately. And when we engage in stuff like that, we do it for a greater good, for the freedom of our people. And what we have ended up with here negates most of what we went through, especially anything we went through from 1973-74, given that what we have settled for was on offer then. We went through those last 20 years basically for nothing. Another change over the past 20 years, the likes of these high-rise buildings in the hospital.
Yeah.
And when the British Army were here, they were at the top of all them buildings.
Oh, yes.
For surveillance,
yes.
You know, observing, watching in the districts. Although they're away, you still have a very sort of a society that's very heavy under surveillance.
Yes.
You know, with the proliferation of small cameras, traffic cameras all around the place. I mean, you can't get through Belfast now without somebody being able to piece together your whole journey.
Right now in the British Parliament, they're discussing and the Brexit, and Theresa May is trying to get her plan through. How do you see that affecting the situation here in Northern Ireland? if borders are reintroduced?
In the first instance, if somebody erects a hard border in Ireland, you don't have to be a genius to know that somebody is going to get a few pounds of explosives and go out and blow it up because they don't want a border in Ireland. Something like that happens, it could have a knock-on effect with something else. And next thing you know, you can find yourself back in a situation where people are shooting and bombing again. And when you get into a situation like that, it takes on a life of its own, it takes on its own dynamic, and it's very, very hard to come out of it. So Brexit poses an existential danger to peace within Ireland. As well as posing that, it also poses a very real danger in economic terms, in that the north of Ireland as a region of the United Kingdom is going to be the worst affected area in terms of taking any economic hits. Brexit is an agenda that is driven by nostalgia, the greatest liar in the world. The people in the English shires, the Tories, have a lovely nostalgia for the days of empire when they ruled the world and brought civilization to the world.
Scotland might leave the Union as well.
That is one of the great things I love about Brexit too, that it is causing such disruptions within the United Kingdom. And the really ironic thing is that if we do end up getting a measure of freedom, as in being disentangled from Britain, it will have come about not because of the amount of guns and bombs we used against the British. It will come about because of the arrogance of the English ruling class thinking that they can reverse history and go back to being the British Empire. Once you have your shot at history, you have it. You don't go back. Britain has had its day in the sun.
So we're standing here in West Belfast, next to RPG Avenue up here, heartland of the IRA.
Yep.
And can you tell us how they got its name?
Oh, it got the name RPG Avenue because whenever the Brits, the armour, would come in to patrol up here, it was a good spot. There's a lot of most of this side it's just wall. There's no houses. It's the walls of schools and colleges. So it was a handy spot for firing RPGs, because if you missed them, you were just banging into the wall. But most of the times we were hitting them. I got the name RPG Avenue.
When people in Denmark hear about Northern Ireland, they immediately think of the IRA and the struggle. What's the situation today with the IRA and the splinter groups and so on?
The IRA bought into the whole peace process. I mean, basically the IRA was led by the same people that was running Sinn Féin, Adams and McGuinness. So they led us into the peace process. In 2005, I think it was, the IRA announced that they were disbanding and everybody was to go away and engage just in purely political stuff. So the short answer is the IRA, as Danish people would remember it as being a campaigning army fighting against the British, no longer exists. It's not there anymore. Over the years, there has been many fragmentations, and groups have come along calling themselves the Continuity IRA, the Real Continuity IRA, the ABC IRA. There's been that many of them. We refer to them as the alphabet spaghetti of the IRAs. None that have any sort of political legitimacy in that they are engaged in an armed struggle against the British. There is no armed struggle taking place here now. Most of them are basically gangs operating, trying to give themselves a bit of semi-legitimacy by proclaiming that we're at war with the British, and so we're going to go out and shoot somebody because he smokes cannabis, and crazy things like that, or else extorting small-time drug dealers. But there is no IRA, there is no revolution, unfortunately.
But is there any place for armed struggle today, as you see it?
I don't believe there's any justification for armed struggle today. I know that probably sounds contradictory, because I've now spent most of my life engaged in armed struggle, but times were different then. The minimal amount of reform that the Good Friday Agreement brought about gives us a political platform that anybody can become a part of if they want to. And in that context, I don't see any justification for anybody taking up a gun in Ireland today. There is no support for any sort of armed struggle. Unfortunately, our political system here, rather than becoming a radical revolutionary political system coming out of a long period of struggle, has went the opposite way, and we have become right-wing, conservative, reactionary. Our political system, much like political systems anywhere else in the world that is dominated by neoliberal economics, our political people are basically regional managers for that global system of capitalism which is sucking us all dry.
It's a very bleak perspective that you're painting here. Is there any hope? It's
bleak because that's the way it is at the minute, but yes, there is hope because we do have a strong left-wing tradition within Ireland. So the left is still there and there is hope for the future. I know it's bleak at the minute, but that's the power of global capital where it can come in, they can shut down revolutions, they can shut down political parties, they can shut down political movements. But people are still fighting against it. People are still struggling for a better life, for a fairer system of politics. And so when that's still there, there's still hope. You should never give up hope.